Hey, happy 2025. It is great to be here with you for our Tuesday tips. Join me every Tuesday afternoon for some tips to help you soar as a coach, some things that you can apply immediately to engage with your clients, build your business, uh, create new leadership habits. I'm Meg Rentschler. I'm the host of the STaR Coach Show, and I love to visit with you on Tuesday afternoons to explore some key element that is going to be highlighted in my brand new show that comes out every Wednesday. So be sure to subscribe to the STaR Coach Show so that you never miss a Tuesday tip, you never miss the great content that my guests bring onto the show. If you're watching me on YouTube, like the video, leave a comment. I'd love to know how it impacts you, and be sure to subscribe to the STaR Coach YouTube channel because that's how I stay in touch with you. So today we're starting a new year. Well, not technically today, we're starting a new year. We started the new year about 7 days ago, and we are launching into 2025. And for me, a key element to a successful new year is how organized is my workflow. Now, I'll be totally honest with you. Part of the reason why this is so key for me right now is I have just moved houses, and I have realized how incredibly disorganized I am. I have boxes upon boxes of things that I believe are very important and that actually I'm having a little bit of a difficult time determining what to do with. And it made it so key to me to think about what is this level of everything being in boxes everywhere, not just in my office, but in my bedroom and in the kitchen. And there are so many things. So, first of all, I think decluttering is probably one of the smartest things ever made. That's why this whole declutter phenomena is going around. So, I would kind of encourage you to think about, what are you holding on to that might not really be serving you? And as much as at this moment, I'm feeling a little of that swirl, I'm looking at this opportunity as a way to begin to clear things out, because this is what I have noticed, and what I really know to be true. When we really want to be impactful and productive, organization is sort of the heartbeat of that. If we want to get momentum, we need to have systems and files and workflows that are thoughtfully structured. We've got to be able to step into the work that we need to do without wasting time looking for things and not being able to find things. And I will tell you, at least for me, my mental structure has been really impacted by this not being able to find things, not being able to be as productive as I want to be. I've got some major deliverables coming up that I feel are negatively impacted by my lack of organization. So, excuse me, while I'm here to share optimal tips, I'm not here to pretend like I do everything that I need to do all the time. Excuse me while I get a sip. So, with that, we know that strategic organization can compound positively towards positive momentum. We also know that we are better able to get our work into the world, get our message into the world more consistently, more efficiently, and really with more like what makes sense, if we have some level of flow and consistency. It helps us leverage, and this is a key thing, and we're going to be talking about this in the tips in just a second. But what clear organization does is it lets us leverage our past work more productively. How often are you in a place of feeling like you have to reinvent the wheel? You've got to create a new lead magnet. You've got to create a new email sequence. You've got to, and then you realize I've already done something very similar to this, but because I'm disorganized, I can't find it. So, what we are going to focus on in our tips today, but not just in our tips today, but in the show tomorrow, because the new Star Coach show goes live every Wednesday. And what we're focused on in tomorrow's is that very idea of how organization helps us optimize with my incredible guest, Jèsabel DC. She is a digital organizer that helps people get their world out of the swirl and into something you can enjoy and have fun with. So we'll talk more about that in just a second. The other thing that being organized does for us is it allows us to collaborate with other people. If we've got a flow of organization, if we understand what we what our capacity is, what our capability is, we can better collaborate with others. And we're going to talk about that also in the tips in just a second. So we know that it creates momentum, that it helps us leverage our past work powerfully, and also that it allows us to collaborate and put great things into the world with other people, because we are a better partner when we are in flow. So I'm going to give you 5 tips to think about that you can apply immediately to help you with your organization. And I'll tell you this, there are more tips and processes in a really fun way in my interview tomorrow with Jèsabel. So let's start with our number 1 tip for staying organized, staying in flow so that we can get that momentum, we can really leverage our work, and we can be more capable. We want to explore that whole concept of touch it once principle. Now, that is something that can be a challenge, but when you embrace it fully, it really gets you back your time. So what is the touch it once principle? It is when you encounter a task, when you pick up a piece of paper, when you open a file on your computer, you are making a decision right then. Is it going to be deleted? Is there something you can complete? Can you delegate it? Do you schedule it for later? Literally drag that email into your calendar and put it on a time that you're going to deal with it later. Those things, that concept of touch it once and make a decision will keep you from repeatedly looking at things, picking them up, putting them back down again, reorganizing or not even organizing, just having a stack of stuff that does not help you with your flow and actually multiplies the time that you're spending on things. So embrace the touch it once principle. The second thing that I encourage you to do, and I think that these are things that our clients can do as well. So be thinking about, what might be helpful also for the people with whom you work. Build consistent review rhythms. So in other words, set a regular time, schedule it, because if it's not on your schedule, it's probably not going to happen. To whether to sort of look at your systems, look at the backlogs you have, look at the emails that you haven't addressed yet. And unfortunately have to touch again. In whatever you need to do, adjust those priorities. If you schedule those, whether it's once a day, once a week, even once a month, How are you going in and assessing things? Looking at maybe you've got a box, an inbox that you literally put papers in, or you can readdress your calendar for things that are being left dangling. Do you use notes on your phone or on your computer? What do you need to reassess and look at and clear out so that you can stay aligned with what matters most? Do you have some deliverables coming up that you've got to get things done for? If you aren't assessing, then things are going to fall through the cracks, whether those are client issues. I was just talking to one of my clients the other day who happens to be a coach who said she has put way too much on her calendar and things are falling through the cracks and she's not building in those times to double check, and it's just not like her and it's creating a lot of discomfort for her. So she's looking at how can she do things differently to be more effective. So number 1 tip, touch it once principle. Number 2, develop some consistent review rhythms for yourself. Patterns. Patterns work well if we are looking at how can we employ patterns that get us to where we want to be. Third tip is to create dedicated spaces for your different kinds of work, dedicated locations. Whether it is, I have a folder for my notes for my Tuesday tip lives. I have another folder for things that I want to remember for my STaR coach interviews to get out. Those are digital files. I actually still have paper files, but they are spaces that I know that that's where I can go to grab those things. Now, the other thing about that is that when we have those clear places and those clear systems that we use, those are the standard operating procedures that if in fact we hire somebody at some point to help us in our business, those are things that when we have those different types of work in different places, we know this is what I can delegate. This is what I need to keep under my own umbrella. But I've got them in key places and I'm writing out what are the procedures that I do for each one of these things that are in their designated spots that will make it so much easier for you if and when you get to a place of hiring somebody to help you do some of the things. Having these dedicated spaces with dedicating operating procedures, you will thank yourself for in the future. So the other thing that I want to help you think about, and very truthfully, like getting excited, I just combined number 3 and 4 together. So, so it's just one of those things that happens sometimes. I'm still discombobulated. I've got all these things. I'm not feeling my regular organized self. So I'm just going to own the fact that even in feeling like I'm not as organized as usual, I've got things everywhere. I even messed up my 5 tips for you. So yes, I wanna do those things. We wanna do those things. We wanna have dedicated spaces for different work. That is what Jèsabel really focuses on in my interview tomorrow when she talks about digital spaces and what we do with our digital spaces, and exploring whether or not the projects that we have, the reference materials we have, whether we have them in dedicated spaces that are easy to access again. So this was actually the point that I wanted to make about number 3, even though I went into number 4 while I was talking to number 3. These dedicated spaces are key they're really like our treasure troves of our businesses. They are the places that we have work that we've done before. You might have graphics or lead magnets that you've made, or presentations that you've given, reports that you've written. Going through these dedicated spaces for the different kinds of work that we've done is the gold mine to your business. I say to the coaches that I work with on a regular basis, when's the last time You went through your files, you went through your digital files, which is what Jezebel's going to talk about us tomorrow, in the show that goes live tomorrow. Really look at where are you putting things and can you access them again so that you can rework them and repurpose them. That's my point for number 3. Number 4 is actually the whole standard operating procedures and developing those standard processes that you know you do again and again. Those patterns, those things, not reinventing the wheel again and again, those standard operating procedures are key to your organization, and they're key to helping you be able to bring other people on, whether it is hiring somebody through a Fiverr or a Upwork to do a particular project for you, or whether you're going to bring somebody on to your team, having those standard operating procedures that you've taken time to know what the procedure is, to writing it out, then you can determine what you're going to delegate to others, what you need to do for yourself. So that is clearly number 4, even though I started talking about it during number 3. And then finally, this is something that I need to be doing right now that will move me into 2025 so well, which is strategic pruning. How do you evaluate what you have? What do you really need? And get rid of the clutter. Get rid of the commitments that you've already made that you can get off your calendar or out of your file drawer or out of your digital space. What possessions might you have that really don't serve you anymore? What information stream might not really even be needed on your computer anymore or in your space anymore? Sometimes we tell ourselves that we need things more than we really do. So be willing to let go of the things that are no longer service to you. And I'm making a commitment to you right now that that is exactly the process I'm going to be going through in this next couple weeks. And I'll report back. I make a promise that I'll report back. What was this pruning procedure like for me? I've been in business for myself for over 30 years. I have things collected that I believe are really important. And then when I think about it, I'm like, I haven't even looked at this for 5 years. Why do I need it? So I'm making a commitment to you right now that I'm going to be more strategic in my pruning and I'm going to report back to you. What did it feel like? What did I release? And what does it do for my space to let go of some of this stuff that I just don't need anymore? What does it do to optimize my ability to get my work into the world? So I get that life is busy and sometimes it's the organization and the flow of things that create the process of just more things accumulating because I don't have time to kind of think about my organization, or I'll get to that later. I'll get to it later until we don't get to it anymore. So my challenge for all of you as we enter 2025 is to think about, if organization amplifies our impact and our productivity, what can we do to be more strategic, to make difficult decisions and let things go so that we can collaborate with others. We can look at what we do have and really maximize it. Think, oh my gosh, I forgot that I had done this presentation back in 2022, and I can repurpose this now and do this with it. I'm willing to bet that taking the time, maybe it's blocking some time on your calendar, making a commitment to step into your space, digital, paper, files, drawers, and begin to look at, what do I really have? What do I need? And what do I have that could help me get my work into the world with more consistency and more efficiently and really create the kind of impact that you want. That's what organization does for us. That is the topic of tomorrow's show. Now, my interview with Jèsabel DC is going to be around digital. Like, how do we look at our digital space, which, by the way, is a mess for me right now? I'm just completely owning. It's just like, what can we do to get things so that they're flowing? So that when we get, let's say, asked to be a keynote speaker, we know immediately, here's some things that I could speak on. Here's how I can get this together. Here, let me shoot my bio to these people. Let me shoot my talking points to these people because I've got them, because I've got flow. And they want me to collaborate with somebody to do that. I can be a great collaborative partner because I've got my flow. So, wouldn't 2025 be fantastic with a flow? I believe that it will. I'm committing to you. I got a little naked here today, told you just how incredibly overwhelming my move was for me, all the boxes that are everywhere. I'm going to start doing exactly what I'm talking about today, and then I'm going to talk to you about it again. I will visit back again. Remember that every Tuesday, I come to you with Tuesday tips. About 4:30 Central Time, I hop on live and do a little bit of tips to make you think about the way that you are bringing your work into the world, whether it's skill set, whether it's business building, but it usually highlights my show that's coming out on Wednesday. I love this time with you on Tuesdays. I want you to be aware that the shows come out every Wednesday morning. So be sure to subscribe to the STaR Coach Show wherever you listen to your podcasts, because sometimes I've got bonus episodes that you might not know are coming out if you're only visiting on Wednesdays. But the best place to subscribe is STaR Coach on YouTube. That's where I have tips and strategies and different elements coming to you. So you don't want to miss a thing. Be sure to subscribe to the STaR Coach YouTube channel. As we are wrapping up today, I would love your comments on what are you committing to do in 2025 to get your flow going. We talked about the value of organization, and I gave you 5 tips that you could begin immediately to begin to get that flow. I've promised that I'm going to share my progress with you on going through my 25 years of boxes and thinning them out. I'm also going to let you know what things I unearthed. What were the treasures that I found? And I would love to hear, what treasures are you finding as you clear through things and make a plan for 2025? So until next week, this is Meg Rentschler wishing you the best for your success. I'll be back next week with more Tuesday tips, and I would love to hear from you. So you have a great day.